guys, I want to welcome everyone to the first edition of Sportsmemo's College Football Forecast. I am your host, world champion handicapper, Las Vegas' biggest daily sports bettor, Joe D'Amico. We are very excited to come to you each week during the football season on behalf of the most exciting website on the planet, Sportsmemo. Guys, every show, you're going to receive a ton of free plays in college football. Each week, you can expect nothing but winners, information, entertainment, and laughs. Yes, we're going to have a few laughs here as well. Guys, we have a panel of handicappers like no other. Each week, I am proud to welcome the guys from Sports Memo, some special guests from Wager Talk. All right, we're going to go into discussions on current events, sporting events. We're going to tell you what lines are moving and who moved them. Today's show, it features some great guys. We do expect Dr. Chuck to come on later. If he doesn't, he's having some technical problems. But you've heard of Dr. Dre, you heard of Dr. J. We've got Dr. Chuck, the one and only Jesse the Body Schule. We've got you Capper, Ronald Cabang. Thank you, Ronald. And we've got Kevin Braudis, who is our NFL aficionado, but he's going to stick around for this show just in case he wants to chime in on a few things. Now, guys, we're going to dive right in, get into some college football winners for this weekend. I want to go right now to my buddy Jesse Schule, one of the most respected handicappers on the planet. Jesse, I know everyone wants to know who you have this weekend in college football and why.
Thanks, Joe. I'm looking at Stanford and K-State, neutral site game. And as you guys probably know, it's been tough times for the Pac-12 lately. The Pac-12 is kind of like the red-headed stepchild of the Power Five. Nobody really has a lot of faith in Pac-12 teams. The bettors are lining up to bet against Pac-12 teams when they play out of conference. And I think that presents a little bit of value. You have K-State as a favorite here. Stanford, I got a lot of respect for this team. I like what David Shaw has done over the last decade. You got a 3-time conference championships, 6 division championships, 4 times Pac-12 Coach of the Year. He's done a great job with the offensive line. They can usually run the ball. They had some success last year running the ball. I expect them to run all over a K-State defense that allowed 445 yards a game and 177 yards on the ground last year. I think this game could go either way, but with Stanford catching a couple points, the value's on Stanford.
So, Jesse Schule coming in with Stanford as his first free play here on the Sports Memo Football Forecast. Jesse, you've got such a great history for winning, documented record year after year. You're a personal friend of mine. I'm proud to be your friend, but I've had you on my shows many times. You always are a fan favorite. What else do you have going on at Sports Memo this weekend, college football?
Well, the biggest game of the week is Clemson and Georgia, and wouldn't you know it if that's my game of the year. Everybody's banging down my door to know who I got in that one, but it's going to cost you $99 to figure it out. But I recommend actually going for a long-term package rather than paying the big bucks for one game. Take me for a test drive for a week or two or a month or whatever you feel comfortable with.
That's it. I'm getting my credit card right out. I'm going over to Sports Memo, and I want that package because I want that Clemson, Georgia winner. Guys, Jesse Schule, go down to Sports Memo. Guys, he's a documented winner for decades. Go down there. He's a winner. Trust me. Dip your toe. He'll make a believer out of you. Ronald Cabang, you Capper. You know him as you Capper. I'm honored to have you on the show today. Thank you for coming. I know that a lot of people out there also want to know what you're doing this weekend in college football. You're going to be giving out a couple of free winners on this show today. Tell us what your first free winner is.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Baylor at Texas State game. Baylor's coming off a rough season, going 2-7 last year. But they have a chance to start fresh against one of the worst teams in the nation. I think the defenses will be the story of this game. Most of Texas State's defense will be returning this season, but they have a lot of ground to make up after giving up 38 points per game and close to 500 yards per game last season. So I think it'll take a couple of games for that defense to start putting things together. With Texas State, they need their offense to click on all cylinders to win this game. But that'll be tough against a stout Baylor defense. With the new offense, even if Baylor struggles a little bit to start, the defense will put them in a great position to score throughout the game. I believe Baylor will be too much on both sides of the field for Texas State to handle for a full game, so I'm taking Baylor minus 14.
Ronald, you know him as you Capper, taking Baylor minus the points. Ronald, always on the leaderboard over at Sports Memo. Can you tell our viewers what else you have going on in college football this weekend, please?
Yeah, other than the 2 free plays today, I'm probably going to add one more tonight. And I'm not really settled into one specific one yet, so I'm trying to get that down. But
So sports fans, stay tuned and keep checking Sports Memo. Ronald Cabang, you know him as Capper, is going to put up some big winners between tonight and tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that. My next guest, I'm just so honored to have him here. Not only has he helped me technically the last few days to get this show off the ground, he is one of the most respected cappers over at the Wager Talk side, and I'm so honored to have him here. Andy Lang. Andy, welcome.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's college football season, and believe it or not, Wager Talk brought me on board because I'm a golf and NASCAR handicapping specialist, and it's big times for me because NASCAR playoffs starts this weekend, right, everyone? All that money flowing in on NASCAR. Anyway, I'll get to my first free college football play. I live here in Indiana, which means I follow a lot of the Indiana programs. I went to Indiana University myself. And I really like this Notre Dame team this year, and I love -7 against Florida State. The front seven of Notre Dame here is just going to dominate the offensive line of Florida State. Florida State they're going to have to get really creative running the ball. They're going to have to get out in space. They're going to have to use some trickery, some misdirection, and even then, I'm not sure Notre Dame is just going to overpower them. They cannot afford any mistakes on offense, the Seminoles. And Notre Dame's offense, they're going to be balanced. They're going to have 2 running backs that are both probably going to rush for over 100 yards, and they just have a really big advantage with this tight end, Michael Mayer. This is a guy who's going to play in the NFL. He's going to have advantages over all the linebackers, and wide receiver Kevin Austin should go nuts as well. It may be close early. Florida State's going to have a lot of energy and a lot of emotion to start off, but in the end, I think as the second half goes on, the athleticism of Notre Dame is really going to flex its muscle, and I'm looking for a 2-score game for Notre Dame to win.
2-score game for Notre Dame to win for Andy Lang. You get all of his winners over at Wager Talk. Andy, what else you got going on this weekend? College football for everybody out there that wants to know.
Oh, we got one play going on Sunday night, obviously Notre Dame, and then I got a night game on Saturday. We pick our spots. I'm only going to have 1 to 2 college football plays. Do have a 5% week 1 NFL play. I traditionally start off hot in NFL. The first 2 months are always my best, so I try and put my big plays up front. So if you want to get off to a really, really good start in NFL, go check it out on wagertalk.com.
The one, the only Andy Lang. Andy, thank you. Now, before I give out my play, I want to hit up Kevin Braudis. Kevin is here to be our NFL aficionado, which you're going to see in our NFL segment a little later on. However, Kevin, any questions or comments, any concerns about any of the plays you've heard so far?
No, I'm glad to have me on, Joe. I've just been listening to all the guys in college. I obviously don't do college. I stick to professional sports. So, again, it's just been taking my notes and kind of writing some plays maybe I'll have this weekend.
Gotta love that, Kevin Braudis.
Yeah.
And guys, don't go anywhere. When we do our NFL games, Kevin is the guy to know. He is amazing. He kicks butt in the NFL, and I can't wait to see what he's got for all of us because I'm a big fan of Kevin's. I have a game I would like to give out for college football Saturday. Week 1, guys. College football is a very tough schedule to handicap. Like an archaeologist, though, you got to dig to find that treasure. Now, folks, normally I don't like to lay a ton of wood this early, but laying 22 or 22.5 with the Cincinnati Bearcats, to me, is a very smart play. The Bearcats ranked 8th in preseason polls. This is one of the few teams in the nation that forecasters feel have a chance to crack the Power 5 and possibly earn a spot in the college football playoff. They've got a Heisman hopeful quarterback, Desmond Ridder. The guy's a stud. I could ring off his stats, but he's a stud. Now, this is something I couldn't figure out. He's a 5th-year senior. Maybe I didn't take math, but he's a 5th-year senior. 5th-year junior, scratch that. My Hooked on Phonics books did not come in the mail. Jesse, you were supposed to send those out. Thank you. But a 5th-year junior, guys, he is. I'm very excited about this game. If you recall, this is a team that went undefeated in the regular season a year ago. They held their own with Georgia in the Peach Bowl, losing but getting the cover 24-21. Miami, guys, they aren't a bad team. However, any of their recent success has come at the hands of other mediocre teams. When they step up in class, they get manhandled. Cincinnati's newly acquired defensive coordinator, Mike Tressel. We all know Mike. He's making his first appearance here, and he will make sure people know there's a new sheriff in town. One last thing, guys, I want you to realize. For Cincy to be taken seriously in the polls this season, they must, I repeat, they must destroy all lesser foes. My friends, Miami-O is a lesser foe. I'm laying the points with Cincinnati, and if you follow me, you're going to take your bookmaker's money. I promise you that. I know I'm a little long-winded there, guys, but I was very excited about this game. Anybody have any comments on my Cincinnati game? Now, please keep in mind, I'm the host of the show. No, I'm kidding. Now, anybody have any comments about the Cincinnati game?
I think you brought up a really good point, and this translates into college football as well as NFL, when you said they need to get these wins against these lesser opponents. There's some really, really crowded divisions in NFL. The seedings in college football are jam-packed, and when some of these teams that are big favorites, they cannot mess around. Your point was very, very well said.
Thank you.
That a lot of these teams cannot screw around, and they need to bury these teams, especially on national TV games when the media and a lot of people are watching. So very well said by you, Joe.
Thank you, and yeah, I appreciate that. Now, I know we have a little technical difficulties with some of the cappers out there, but we're going to take care of that right now. It happens. There's nothing we can do about that, guys. Technical difficulties in life. Listen.
2 for 1.
Let me tell you right
2
now.
for 1 tonight.
Andy, before most people get up and have breakfast, I have about 8 technical difficulties, so I'm not worried. I really do appreciate all the cappers on the show, everybody out there that's putting up with us. But trust me, you stick around. We got more winners coming in college football. Then we have our NFL segment. Let me do something a little special here, guys. I got some friends over at the Westgate Superbook, one of my favorite books in the world. As a matter of fact, I'm in the contest this year. I don't know if any of the cappers on the panel are in the contest. That $1 million contest, it kicks off next week. So if anybody wants to come in town, use a proxy service or whatnot, this is one of the best contests out there, one of the oldest and most respected. Win $1 million, why not? I love the Westgate, but I spoke to my friend Randy Bloom over there. He's a boss down there. After today's show, I don't know if he's going to be a boss anymore. Now, he's a boss down there, guys, and he told me about a few games on the college football board that were moved. The lines moved significantly, and he wants me to know, and he wants everybody else out there to know who moved them. So first, I want to go Michigan State, Northwestern. Randy informed me the game opened 6 over there, Northwestern 6. It's down to 3. He said this was strictly a wise guy move, guys. The sharp bettors, the wise guys, the house sharp bettors that come in, they wait for a number, they pound it. They pounded this game down to 3, so they got Michigan State, obviously. Kansas State, Stanford. I know a few people on the panel and I were talking before the show began. Interesting game, interesting matchup, neutral site. This game opened to pick 'em. Now K-State is a 3.5. All big money, wise guy moves. That's why they're moving the lineup. They don't know if there's going to be any repercussion coming back on the other side. But K-State, 3.5, wise guy moves. Next game, very, very interesting. LSU, UCLA. It opened 4.5. Right away, the big money came from some of the sharper bettors. They hit the Bruins and went down to 2.5. Funny thing, though, you would think it would move more, but the general public, because they love teams that have big names, are hitting LSU. So it's evening out. As the wise guys are hitting it, the general public is hitting it. Wise guys are hitting it, general public are hitting it. 2 more games, we'll be out of your hair. We're going to get you some more winners from our fantastic featured cappers. The Georgia-Clemson matchup, public money, guys. Huge, biggest handle on both sides. Biggest handle the Westgate has this entire weekend on college football. They're getting money on both sides. It doesn't shock me. I don't think it's going to shock any of the cappers on the panel. Georgia and Clemson, both forecasted top 10 teams, big teams. You're going to see a lot of general public money on these big teams, but they're evening out. So the line isn't moving too much, but it's the biggest handle the Westgate's taken so far this week in college football. One last game. The Sharps are all over Houston. Texas Tech opened 2.5. Last I spoke to Randy Bloom over at the Westgate, Houston is now 3.5 point swing. And I'll tell you right now, man, he thinks this game could close even higher on Houston with the amount of money they're taking in on it. So I want to thank the guys over at the Westgate, my favorite book in the world, the Superbook, for providing some information on which lines moved significantly this weekend in college football and who moved them. Let's go right back into more college football winners, guys. All right, we're going to start at the top again. They call him Jesse the Body, Jesse Schule.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I'm looking at a game in the Big Ten here. You got Iowa hosting Indiana. Actually, you got Indiana ranked, 16th or 17th in the polls right now, and they were great last year. I really enjoyed betting on Indiana last year as an underdog in a lot of big games, but I think it's asking quite a bit for them to repeat that success. I mean, there was a lot going on last year, a lot of distractions. They were a great team, gritty team, but some really good teams lose at Iowa. I mean, Wisconsin's lost their last couple games at Iowa, I believe. Ohio State got blown out at Iowa just a few years ago, and I think perhaps the public's a little bit too fond of this Indiana team, based a little bit of recency bias based on the success they had last year. And I think history favors Iowa here. I mean, Iowa's won 7 of the last 8 head-to-head meetings, all 3 home games during that span. And 6 of those 7 wins were by 7 points or more. They're just a small favorite, 3 points. I like Iowa all the way. The home team here. Give me Iowa.
Jesse Schule all over Iowa, home team. Jesse, over the years, you've done nothing but win in college football. Can you once again tell all of our viewers out there what you got going on for them this weekend in NCAA football?
I do have the game of the year. I mentioned that already. But if you're looking for something else, I don't know why you would, but I got a late night snack, I like to call it. The last game on the board, the late night snack play, and that is the Washington State game. I got the total in the late game at Washington State. So that's another one that you can pick up. That's another one you'll get in the 3-day package if you pick up one of those 50% off 3-day packages.
Jesse Schule, go get one of those 3-day packages, 50% off, as you see scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Guys, Jesse, I love you, man. You're always so wonderful. And Jesse's going to be giving out a couple of NFL winners later on our NFL platform, so stay tuned for that. We're going to ride over to Ronald. You know him as Capper. Ronald, I have noticed over the recent weeks that you are on the leaderboard just like every day. I wake up, I check leaderboards, I check wins and losses, and I happen to see your name on the leaderboard at Sportsmemo every day. Congratulations. And I couldn't be happier that you're on our first show of the season. I know you've got another winner for our viewers out there in college football. Can you tell us what that is, please?
Yeah, for sure. Sorry about the technical difficulties too. How's my mic? Is my mic okay?
It's perfect.
All right, cool. All right, so yeah, the second game is UTSA at Illinois. So it's like the Illinois goes with a backup QB this week, Archer Sitkowski. He played well last week after the starter, Brandon Peters, was taken out of the game with an injury. Sometimes backup QBs play well because defenses aren't prepared for them, but UTSA will be prepared this week. They have enough playmakers on the defensive side of the ball to make it tough for Sitkowski to get comfortable. Keep an eye out for safety Rashad Wisdom. He's going to be all over the field. UTSA has a strong run game with Sincere McCormick. And then they got the dual threat quarterback, Frank Harris. They're really great at taking care of the ball, one of the best in the nation last season. So I do see this as a letdown spot for Illinois, too, after beating Nebraska outright last week. So I'm taking UTSA +5. I think they could keep this within the field goal, and who knows, possibly even win the game outright.
Ronald says take UTSA, and he's on the leaderboards, so I'm going to go with UTSA. Ronald, one more time, can you tell everybody what you got going on over at Sports Memo College Football this weekend, please?
Yeah, for sure. So after these 2 free games today, I'm likely going to have one more posting it up tonight. We'll see how it goes.
There you go. Ronald Capper, go down to Sports Memo. We're offering 50% 3-day packages down there. There's a code you're going to see flashing across your screen. Now we're going to go to one of my favorite people in the world. You know him from Wager Talk. I know him from helping me all week, helping me prepare for this show, Mr. Andy Lang.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite play this week. I got San Diego State -20 in the first half over New Mexico State. New Mexico State is really bad. They're really, really bad. And San Diego State is going to run all over them. They lost 30-3 to UTEP. And the New Mexico State quarterback completed 8 passes in that game. The defense gave up 249 yards passing on only 16 pass attempts. and UTEP rushed for over 200 yards. Defense of San Diego State was really good last season. They allowed 284 yards per game, only 18 points a game, and they're probably going to be better. San Diego State, they're kind of trying to figure out who their quarterback is, but it's not going to matter that much. Greg Bell's back for his senior season. He should have a huge game. Here's my favorite part about this. I shouldn't be laughing. So the New Mexico State coach was on a Zoom call with a bunch of reporters, and he was quoted. He said, San Diego State is building a $50 million stadium, and we don't even have air conditioning in our locker rooms. How are we supposed to compete with that? Oh, it gets better. The reporters took the high road. They didn't have the heart to tell them that San Diego State's stadium is $310 million, not 50. So that's the difference in the programs here. New Mexico State is 9-20-1 ATS their last 30 games. They were down 20-3 last week at halftime. San Diego State is 7-2 ATS their last 9 games on grass fields. I think they get up early. I like this is under 3 touchdowns. That's why I like the minus 20. I think they can get up 3 scores pretty easily on this team. So it's a late game, so it might be your late game bailout. Give me San Diego State minus 20 in the first half.
Andy Lang coming with San Diego State minus 20 in the first half. Andy, wager talk. You're on the leaderboards. I checked it again today. What do you have going on this weekend? College football.
Well, you know what? I'm going to deviate here a little bit. We won 61 units in baseball just in the month of August. We had an incredible month, and we're continuing it. So just because it's college football season, don't ignore some of these other sports. The money spends the same. So I do want to promote baseball is going well. NASCAR is going good. Number 1 in auto racing. I do NASCAR and Formula 1. Golf as well. Having a great year, up 80 units for the 2021 season in golf. So I have a lot of things going on. I can't say college football is my specialty, but NFL did really, really good, and all my other sports are plus money this year. So allwagertalk.com. Yeah.
I had a question for you, Andy. So as far as you said you do better in the first couple of weeks, do you notice anything why or transition over to the full year?
Yeah, it's a great question. I went back and looked at all my NFL plays, and I do a lot of props. I do tons of player props. We cashed big on NHL player props and NBA player props, and I got away from something that treated me well, which was I concentrated on a small number of teams and players in the NFL, and I did really good in the first 6 weeks, and then started feeling myself, and I was like, I'll start branching out and handicapping every team. And that's when I regress to the mean. So this year I've made it a point that I'm going to focus on just a couple of divisions in the NFL. I'm going to focus on the AFC South. I'm from Indianapolis. I know these teams well, and I really like what I see from the NFC South. So I'm going to be focusing on those 2 divisions. So when you get a lot of my player props and plays, they're going to be a lot of the same teams because that's where the money has been made for me. In the NBA playoffs, player props were great because we rode the same guys night in and night out. So I'm going to work on being a lot more consistent over the year on that.
Mr. Andy Lang, great question, Kevin. Guys, gotta say, this caught my eye as well, Andy, going against New Mexico State. This is an ugly team. Let me tell you how ugly this team is. If Patrick Ewing and Larry Bird would have a baby, it would be New Mexico State. That's how ugly this team is. This game caught my eye. I'm glad you brought up. You said it's ugly. This is an ugly team. I think the 5 of us. And maybe 4 other middle-aged guys that have no football experience could take this team on. But, no, it is ugly. And, by the way, Patrick Ewing, Larry Bird, don't get mad at me. You guys are ugly. Let's face it. And you guys had a baby. Let me tell you, it'd be like looking into the eyes of the sun. You're squinting, you're looking, We all got one friend that says, look at my baby. And you look at it, you start turning away. That's New Mexico State. That's Larry Bird and Patrick Ewing together. They are not good. I hope Kevin Braudis isn't related to one of those guys. Guys, it's time to adjust your mics because I'm going to give out another free play. For all our listeners out there, I'm going to blow your eardrums up, and I'm going to make you money right now. By the way, Dr. Chuck is chiming in. Let's get him in a second. Chuck, hang on a second. I'm going to give out a game. Then we're going to go into your games real quick. Guys, I've been doing this for 4 decades, and for the life of me, I can't figure why Arkansas is laying 19.5 points to anyone. Not even New Mexico State. The Razorbacks come off their best season in years, but don't get too excited. 3-7 last year. I get it. They play in a tough conference, but quarterback Felipe Franks is now wearing an Atlanta Falcons uniform. He was a huge part of their offense, to say the least. Let's not forget the Owls are no pushovers. They, too, face some tough conference opponents. You probably don't know this, but they ranked 12th nationally on defense a season ago. They have quite a few leaders returning on the stop end of the ball. The team added a new offensive coordinator, Marquise Tuiasosopo. As a matter of fact, if he married me, he'd be Marquise Tuiasosopo. D'Amico, let that sink in. I couldn't help myself, guys. I was writing up the analysis, and I just couldn't help myself. Guys, reports are that the offense is going to be a bit more diverse this season. They don't just have one, but they have two very capable quarterbacks. And let's not forget playmaker wideout Bradley Rosner. He's a stud. Something else, guys. Arkansas may get caught looking ahead here. They have Texas on deck. I think it's a very tough spot for them to lay nearly 3 touchdowns, 19.5, 20 points. The Owls will keep this game much closer than the point spread, folks. For all you people that are hungry out there, let's eat rice up and get paid. I like them. We had Dr. Chuck on, and now he disappeared again. I don't know. I'd like to get a few winners from him, but maybe in the NFL segment. Guys, sports fans, it was our first broadcast of the Sportsmemo Football Forecast. This is our college football edition. We do have a pro football edition. Few glitches, a few technical issues. I got a little flustered because I was actually thinking about Patrick Ewing and Larry Bird together making out. It got me a little messed up. Guys, but you got a slew of winners from some of the best handicappers on the planet. I mean, it's just amazing. And each week we're going to be coming at you with college football winners on a college football show, pro football winners on a pro football show. So each week we are going to give you tons and tons of winners from some of the most respected handicappers on the planet. Guys, you've got some big discounts. Go to Sports Memo. Go to Wager Talk. Andy, Jesse, Ronald, Kevin, even Dr. Chuck, who's coming in and out. 50% off 3-day packages. Use code FORECAST3. I want to thank all of our guests. I want to thank Dr. Chuck, who we saw a couple times. He's a good-looking son of a gun. Jesse the Body Schule, Ronald, a.k.a. UCapper, Andy Lang, Kevin Braudis, who will be chiming in quite a bit during our NFL segment. I want to say a special thank you to the amazing folks over at Sports Memo. No one on this panel would be here if it wasn't for the amazing things you guys do for us. Thank you, and most of all, thank you to everybody out there tuning in for winners, information, entertainment, and laughs. And I'm still laughing over Patrick Ewing and Larry Bird. It's hard to get that vision out of my mind, guys. I'm sorry. But on behalf of all the cappers and Sports Memo, this is Joe D'Amico. Good luck, and have a winning day.